So welcome everyone to the fall edition, the fall edition of our Advanced Wheelchair Skills class.
Is that a lead-in for transfers?
This is the second round that we've done. What's that?
Was that a lead-in for transfers, the fall edition?
No, I was thinking fall is in the weather. It's still 95 degrees outside, and we're calling this fall. So yes, or it could be falling out of your chair as well. Yes, since we're going to be, we'll throw somebody on the floor here tonight. So this is the second time now that we've done these series of classes online, and so hopefully, just like when we did this in the springtime, that you guys get a lot out of the classes and hopefully take something home with you. The way that we kind of structure these classes, it's pretty loosely structured in that we want you certainly to ask questions as we're doing things. If you can't quite see what someone is doing, I know it's a lot harder to do this online than it is in person. But if you can't quite see what someone's doing, please ask them to do it again. Most of my instructors here don't mind repeating and doing things 10, 20, 30 times, so you can really get for it. So
did you get new instructors?
What's that?
Did you get new instructors?
Yeah, I got to find some younger instructors, don't I?
Yeah.
Come on now.
So the first thing that we typically do in these is we kind of go around to everybody and have you introduce yourself. If you happen to be a wheelchair user, I'd like you to at least tell us, how long you've been in a wheelchair, maybe why you're in the chair, not necessarily how you got in the chair, but if it's like a spinal cord injury, maybe what the injury level is, and if you're still in therapy. So I'll get things started. My name is Brian Mazoyer. I'm a physical therapist assistant, but I'm also the company rep here in Arizona for Permobile Corporation. And so I've been facilitating these classes actually ever since we started them 20 some odd years ago now. And so we've always met or in person to do these. So these have been kind of interesting and fun to do online. So I'll hand it off to Christine.
I'm Christine Beecham. I'm an occupational therapist here at Banner Physical Therapy, formerly Good Sam. I do outpatient neuro for occupational therapy here and also the seating clinic. And I'm not in a wheelchair and I just help out. Dominic.
So as she said, my name is Dominic Corridan. I am in a wheelchair. I've been in a wheelchair now for, 25 years, almost 26 years. Was a car accident back in Michigan 3 weeks after I turned 16. Been in wheelchair sports and outdoor activities ever since day one. Yeah, and I guess I'm one of the instructors. I say that with a question mark.
You know things.
Yeah, he knows.
Karen, go ahead.
Yes, I'll go next. I'm Karen Halgren. I'm with the Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Association. I also am a chair user. I'm a T12 para from a hit and run motorcycle accident almost 18 years ago, here in a couple weeks already. And I am not doing therapy. So let's see, Gary, we'll let you go next.
Hi, I'm Gary Venjon, T12 paraplegic. I was injured in 1978. You do the math, how many years that is, it's a bunch. And I'm a T12 complete, retired. That's important, that complete stuff. And I do use a wheelchair, and I'm not in therapy. Whoever wants to go, Eric?
Eric, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think Corbin was whistling at your age, not your complete.
That's not my age. That's how long I've been in a chair.
I know, and then there's longer.
No, I'm probably younger. I was hurt probably, well, whatever. We won't go there.
You were hurt in the womb.
So my name is Eric Kenning. I was born with a spinal cord injury back in 1969. So I've had it all my life. And I worked with the Arizona Spinal Cord Injury Association. I also run a podcast called Quadriplegics. And yeah, so I'm going to pass it on to Corbin.
Corbin.
That's me.
Score.
My name's Corbin. I've been using a chair since for I guess 28 years now, and car accident in '92, and I break things.
He's good at it too.
Oh, yep. But he knows how to fix them.
Okay,
I do know how to
Melanie,
fix
you're
it.
next.
Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm a student physical therapist at A.T. Still University. Our professor, Dr. Kettle, Jamie Kettle, I'm not sure if anybody knows her or not, but she highly recommended this course, and just so that way we can get some exposure and better understand just like the spinal cord injury population. And we've been working on transfers in class, and so I'm really excited to just hear about experiences and watch this all unfold.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank
Let's see, on my screen next to you is Alyssa.
Hello, my name's Alyssa. I'm one of Melanie's classmates. Just same thing she said. We've just been learning a lot about the different kinds of spinal cord injuries, and she suggested this class to get a better understanding, like Mel said, of what that kind of looks like and how people handle that. So looking forward to tonight. Thank you.
All right, so on my screen next to you is Katie.
So I'm the third classmate. So yeah, we're all second years in the same rehabilitation class. And I guess they've given kind of the background of everything that you need to know, but that's essentially it, is we are all PT students and just looking forward to this. So thank you very much.
Okay, well, welcome. Kimberly and your entourage.
Go for it, Daisy. Who are you?
My name's Daisy, and I'm in a wheelchair, and I have a spinal cord injury, and it's C7, and I'm in therapy at Swan.
Okay.
We're hurt.
And I bet that's your therapist on your right there, huh?
I'm Kimberly. I'm a PT at Swan Rehab, and I'm working with Daisy and others as well. But Daisy and I are here tonight.
Okay. Wasn't there a third person there?
Sarah.
Oh, okay.
I popped
Say
down.
hi, Sarah.
Sarah, I'm the program manager for our comprehensive vocational rehab program.
All right. Well, welcome to the
I know
group,
it,
guys. Let's see. How about Sarah?
Yeah, my name is Sarah, and I've been injured now since 2018. I got injured in a serious fall, and I'm an incomplete T4.
Well, welcome back, Sarah. It's nice to see you.
But my L4 and L5 are also damaged too, so.
Okay. Who have we missed anybody?
Nope, we got everybody.
We got everybody. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. So like I said in the beginning here, we certainly want this to be interactive. So if you have questions as we've got people doing things, then that would be great, and just kind of help with either your training or your education, whether you're a therapist or whether you're someone who's using a wheelchair. So what we're going to do is we're going to have some of the people that are on the call here demonstrate some things for us. Hopefully they either have something that they're going to show us in a video, or they are going to actually do it live. So I wanted to start out with just basically with transfers, getting from one place to another. So Eric, can you talk about, hopefully you're in a spot where you can do transfer and talk about, I know you had some great videos last time. Hopefully you have some of those too. Talking about transfer, say from the chair to another chair, or to just another surface in general.
Okay. I do have.
So I'll let you take it away.
Okay. All right. So I do have a video. I'll probably have to get sharing. Oh no, it looks like I can share. So let me see if I can do this.
You should be able to share screen.
Okay. Let me see if I can get that going here.
If you at the bottom of your screen, there's a little green thing that says share screen. If you move your cursor, it should pop up.
Right. I just had to load it up first. So
oh, sorry. Yeah, you do have to have it loaded beforehand.
Okay, so I demonstrate a couple things here. Hold on, let me. Okay, so a couple things that I demonstrate here. The first one is transferring to the ground.
Okay, well, you'll jump ahead of us, but that's fine.
Oh, no, I'll skip over to the chairs then. Forget it. That's, let me get to chair.
Wow, you're really fast.
Yeah.
That was fast.
Even Corbin isn't that fast getting down to the floor and back.
So what I'm doing here is I am transferring to a chair for my wheelchair. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to approach the chair from a like a 45-degree angle. I'm not going to go directly face to face with the chair. It gives me room to turn around and move around when I'm at transferring. You'll see why too. Approaching at this angle allows me to get my hands on both the wheelchair and the seat at the same time, so I can do kind of a lateral transfer. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, essentially you're just moving sideways, so laterally. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So there it is. And it looks really easy, but what I'm doing is I'm supporting my weight with both my hands, and I'm just sliding over. And then I bring my legs afterwards. So my legs pretty much, I prepare my legs so that I can move. And then I go ahead and I use the wheelchair and the chair to stabilize myself, to move my butt over, and then I drag my feet along with me. So that's the majority of what I do when I go to get in and out of a chair.
Now, do you use on your chair? Do you use wheel locks, or do you just
Yep.
what do you do there?
Yep. So I have wheel locks that I'll engage. Sometimes I will engage them, sometimes I won't. It really depends on the situation. Sometimes I can move better by keeping my chair mobile. I don't think that's the recommended way. I think the recommended way is to use my wheel locks and then transfer over from that point. But sometimes the wheelchair absolutely will get in the way of the transfer in certain situations. So I need to push the chair away from me or move the chair away as I'm transferring. So sometimes that's just necessary.
Can you show that again?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you see that?
Again, man, you are much faster than Corbin ever was.
Okay, so first I'm going to put my wheel locks on, which I just did. I just put the wheel locks on right at the beginning here. Now right here, I have one hand on the cushion and one hand on the chair. My body is going to follow my head. So wherever my head's moving is where my body's going to go. So as you see, I'm looking at the chair. I'm moving my head in that direction. It's kind of giving me momentum. It's leading me into the transfer. So at this point, I go ahead and transfer. All my weight was on here, and I transferred all of my weight to the other hand, but it's just a controlled drop at this point. And then I shift my weight to bring my legs over. Now, as you can see, I'm moving my legs right now. That's to get me ready to move back over to the chair. So one thing that you want to do is you want to, for me, my legs got to get out of the way so that I can do a transfer. That they're going to follow wherever I take them. Okay, so basically my head and my shoulders are going to guide where my body's going to go. My arms are to stabilize me as I go where I want to. So, and I don't have very good balance. So what I do is it's all about the leaning and the counterbalancing and stuff like that. So I use a lot of arm counterbalance when I do my transfers too. You'll see my shoulders will dip and stuff. Okay, so as you can see, my butt's just barely on the seat, but I'm grabbing my wheel right there to pull myself up. So this is a good reason to have that wheel lock on right then. If my wheel lock wasn't on, I wouldn't have the leverage to pull my butt fully into the chair at that point. So, and as you can see, my legs aren't going to really provide any support. So then I adjust myself, legs come up last, readjust, locks are off, and then I'm good to go.
Cool.
So
Now, do you have a transfer to, besides the floor, do you have a transfer to another surface, or is that it?
I have a transfer to the floor, and I have a car transfer.
Okay, well, we'll come back to both of those in a little bit.
Okay, no worries. I'll turn it back over here.
Okay, and there we go. Now, Corbin, are you in a position that because I know you transfer a little bit different. Do you have something you can transfer onto there besides the floor?
Maybe.
It's going to be like a sketchy moving stool or something.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's probably what he's going to get onto, is some kind of a sketchy moving stool.
One thing to elaborate
and
a
I'm
little
gonna
bit
be,
on what.
Oh, geez. Okay, not a sketchy moving stool.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, milk crate.
Okay, so let's go with that. We'll go with Corbin in the milk crate here. So
Oh my goodness.
Because there are times when you got to be able to transfer to whatever you need to transfer to sometimes.
To a milk crate.
So now just so this is the therapist and Brian talking. So I'm not recommending that you go out and try transferring onto milk crates. And you therapists that are on, other therapists and students that are on the line, we're not saying that you should be teaching your patients how to transfer onto a milk crate. However, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Take it away,
Sometimes
Corbin.
you deal with someone like Corbin that's going to do what he's going to do.
I mean, I can get on the hood of the car. Don't we get on the hood of the car?
No.
That's for the traveling session. We're not on the traveling session yet.
Okay. So what I want to do is transferring onto something sketchy like this. You always make sure that you get into this most stable spot on it, and then I'm going to go kind of like what Eric did. I'm going to use the pendulum motion. So I'm going to go straight up and down on this milk crate, as straight up and down as I can, because I don't want to push anywhere where I'm going to tip this thing over.
And Corbin, talk about how you're positioning your wheelchair.
So I've got, because the milk crate's so close to me and I can move it around, I've got my chair about 45 degrees, about a 45-degree angle to the milk crate, and I've scooted all the way to the front of my cushion, which is that new ride cushion, by the way, Christine.
Oh, nice.
And talk about the wheel locks you have on your chair too, Corbin.
Okay, so I'm gonna just put my hand right here on the crate, and I have no wheel locks.
Well, I know, and that was my point. I want you to talk about what you're doing to stabilize the chair,
wheel locks.
and also
what I'm doing is, you can see this hand. I'm actually grabbing the side guard. It's a side guard fender, so it's actually the side guard goes up over the tire itself. I'll do a close up of that a little bit, but I'm grabbing that and my wheel at the same time, and that's going to help me control my chair just a little bit. I prefer to let my chair float a little bit so that I can move it around while I'm doing transfers or anything. So if I get into a situation, I can yank it underneath me or do something. But it's just personal preference. there's not really a whole lot of room on this chair to put anything but a wheel lock called D's locks. And D's locks don't go on this chair. So, what I'm going to do is put my hand straight on this thing. I'm going to lift straight up, and I'm going to let my butt pendulum over to the chair. So I'm just going to do a little shrug with my shoulders and just pendulum over to this milk crate. And then I'm on the milk crate. And so basically my feet are in the same position because now I can just move my chair away and do whatever. And then getting back on, I could either go around to the other side. I hear a lot of people say that they transfer one way better than the other, from left to right or right to left. But then over the years, we've watched those people transfer onto something left to right and then transfer back onto the other thing right to left. So I think it's very important to learn both ways, especially getting in and out of a car. If you're getting into the driver's side of the car, you're transferring left to right. And to transfer left to right again, you'd have to transfer over to the passenger side and get out of the passenger side of the car. So getting out of the driver's side, you'd be transferring right to left. So it's very important to be able to do a transfer both ways. So again, going back, usually I put my fist down on whatever it is, but this is a milk crate and that hurts. So I'm just going to use my hand. And again, the milk crate I'm telling you, I'm sitting on it right now. It's super sketchy. It's moving around a lot. I mean,
Don't do this, people.
So yeah, don't do this. But Roxy's watching, so I'm good. But I'm going to go straight up off the milk crate and then pendulum. I'm going to move my head over my chair a little bit and pendulum back over to my chair. So I'm just going to.
So if this doesn't go well, then we'll be able to see a floor transfer. Oh, darn.
Right. So that's about it right there. Milk crate transfer.
Got it. That's a new one.
Corbin, I got a question for you.
I always try to change the game up a little bit.
Corbin, I have a question for you. This is Gary. When you're making transfers onto surfaces like that are got holes and stuff in them, do you make sure that none of your fingers slip down in those holes?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Why do you feel that way? Have you broken one or two?
No, not doing that. But yeah, but just as you're alluding to, is if something were to go wrong, I don't want my hand to be trapped in that, in whatever I'm transferring on. So a lot of times if I transfer, I put my fist down. So, but it's an irregular surface. So I usually put my fist down. That way it makes my wrist straight. So it lifts, if I have my hand like this and like this, it lifts that joint up. It gives me almost an inch more length in my arm for leverage. It takes a lot of stress off a joint, my wrist, which is very important to somebody pushing a chair. And it's just a stronger transfer. So I usually put my fist down on something and getting a weird message. I don't know how to deal with that. Okay, so I usually put my fist down. It's a kung fu thing. Is that what it is? Cool. So instead of being like this, which is I can already feel that in my wrist. But I usually do this. I know Gary used to put his fingertips down, which actually in effect did the same thing. It was straightening out his wrist and giving him a little more height. But I just put my fist down.
Hey, both Eric and Corbin, I got another question for you. When you go up to make a transfer like what you did, one into a chair and one onto a milk carton or any type of service, do you survey the area around you to any hazards or anything that might happen in case you fallen or anything else?
I mean, yeah, I tend not to transfer when there's glass below me. Gravel is another one. Also, if there's a hill, yeah, I've lost my chair during a transfer where my chair started zooming down the hill. And and I didn't have my brakes on at that point, obviously. So in fact, in that chair, I didn't have any brakes. So, so yeah, I didn't have any wheel locks or anything like that.
No brakes.
Yeah, so the only thing that stopped my chair was another person actually ran into them, and then they brought it up to me. So I was lucky. But you know, there are hazards to look for. You know, when I'm transferring, I want to be on an even ground. If there's uneven dirt, my chair could go off center on me and tip over as I'm trying to transfer. So that's something I got to be careful on. I can't go too far forward on my casters to the front of the chair. That'll flip it forward. So I have to be careful on, you know, I do a lot of transfers, and for me, it's natural at this point. But if you're just starting out, I mean, there's a lot of little things you need to look at to make sure that, you know, the chair isn't going to move, it's not going to flip, it's not going to go off center for you, it's not going to go off balance. You know, you typically want to be on an even keel or an even surface if you can help it. If you're on a really bumpy surface, it can be kind of difficult. It's not to say that you can't do it, but it definitely increases the hazard potential. I've fallen many times. So, I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like since I've been doing this all my life, I don't fall. And I can tell you within a year, I've fallen on my butt, you know, at least a couple times. So, you know, and I'm trying to keep my shoulders healthy too. So the way I transfer, I try to do it as least stressful on my shoulders and my wrists and my hands as possible. And so that's really important for a wheeler when doing these type of transfers.
Are there times when you guys are transferring that if you're with other people that you ask for help with your transfer?
Honestly, a lot of times people get in the way.
Okay.
They'll push the chair too close to me and it'll get under my legs, and then it'll stop me from being able to do what I need to do. Or my chair will get out of position because someone's trying to move it out of the way for me, and now I don't have it to grab a hold of if I lose strength in what I'm trying to do. So typically I tell people to just back off. In a nice kind way, you know. I'm just but it's true. I mean, I have my way and that way works, but if you throw a wrench into it like another person, it could really cause me to fall.
So a lot of times, would you guys agree with this? That a lot of times that having another person there is probably more of a hindrance than anything else, unless you specifically ask for their help to do this, and this. If someone's there, you know, just coming up and saying, "Oh, here, I can help you," like that's usually is a hindrance, unless you're asking for it.
Yeah, and truthfully, if you're just learning how to transfer, you know, a good way to do it is make sure you do have support if you're just learning, because you could fall, you know. So having that support may hinder you to start with, but you need to get the feel of how you're going to do it, you know.
Okay.
It's just how it is.
Probably, I would say, in terms of having someone there when you're first starting out, like with transfers, if you're brand new to something, if it's the first time you've tried something, then definitely you want somebody there just in case, like kind of standing to the side, you know, close enough that if things do go sideways, you know, they can catch you or, you know, help in some way. You know, if you're just on the edge, like of the cushion, and you're almost in, you can't quite make it in, then, you know, then you're able to have that person, you know, maybe lift you a little bit and give you that little bit of extra. Sometimes that's helpful.
Do you, so since you're on here, Dominic, do you have something to transfer onto besides what you're sitting in?
I don't.
You guys seem very well prepared here. One guy's got a military, the other guy's got nothing. Thanks. I appreciate that.
What the heck?
Gene, I know that. Gene, are you on the call still?
Who?
Gene, are you on the call still?
Yes, I am.
Well,
Hey,
hello there.
so, well, I can't see you. Are you somewhere that you can't be seen?
No, no,
Okay.
I can be seen.
So
He's
I
decent.
believe that you use a lift to get in and out of your chair. Am I incorrect in that?
I use the sure hands lift. I can transfer other ways with help of somebody, but to get in and out of bed in my bedroom, I have a sure hands lift. And I saved my video, and so I didn't take another one. But I do have that. It is it's great. It's amazing. It saves my bacon and anybody helping me.
So are you in a position to either, because I thought you had a video last time, were you in a position to show your transfer? Either one. If you've got the video handy, that'd be great.
I'm not able to transfer right now, but let me see if I've got, I was looking at my videos, I've got all my van videos, but I didn't find the one for them.
Okay, so I'll let you look for those. I'll come back to you. Okay, I'll come back to you.
Stand by.
So Karen, now I know that you use a lift for transfers as well, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So, so can you? I know that you're probably not in a position in your kitchen there to use your lift, but can you at least talk about, you know, how the kind of the procedures you go through in transfer, especially when you are what we would consider a dependent transfer, meaning that someone else is doing the transfer, right?
Right. Yeah. My husband helps me. I use a Hoyer and a sling. He'll usually roll me on one side, put the sling under me halfway, roll me the other way, put the sling on the other side, and then lift me up. It's a long process because our room is not real big. He has to push me into the hall and then position my chair and then put the Hoyer over my chair and then lower me down into it. Then unhook the sling, take it out from under me, and then I'm independent after that.
So once you're in the chair, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, are you in your chair the entire day then?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you don't get out in the day for a break or anything like that unless you have issues or something.
Yeah, unless I have issues. Well, I have issues, but you know.
Well, I mean, okay, so yes. I was thinking more that if you had, you know, you had a need to get back into bed for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'd have to have somebody.
Typically, you're up in your chair. And how long are you typically up in your chair for during the day?
Anywhere from 12 to 14, 16 hours, depending on the day, what I'm doing.
Okay.
And I have tilt and recline on it that I'm supposed to use, but I don't use it like I should.
Oh, that's a nice thing to tell your therapist and the students.
Well, you know, but I'm always moving, you know, I do my weight shifts and.
Okay, good. All right, so nice recovery there. Good.
No.
You're showing people that you're not just, you know, sit in the chair the whole time.
Yeah, just sit here. No, I'm always on the move and, you know, always doing something, bending over or reaching for something. And so I'm loving my
and you're loving what?
So I'm loving my new chair. It raises up and down and I can move in it too.
Okay, good. Gary, when you're doing transfers, what are you doing these days for transfers?
I normally just stay in bed all day, so I don't have to do anything.
Oh my goodness.
So you just got out of bed just to come and see us?
Can we kick him out of the meeting?
Yeah.
No, I do later, but I use a slide board for a lot of my transfers. Into my bed, into a recliner chair that I set in the living room, I'll use a slide board anymore. I used to transfer without it, but I do now. My shoulders are bad, and it's just a safety thing, and preserve my shoulders as long as I can preserve them, so they don't get any worse. But yeah, I'll use a slide board that I'll slip back and forth on. I use that to get in and out of the car. So, but the only place I don't use it is in the bathroom.
Okay.
It's just simple because skin doesn't go really easy across the slide board.
Oh, skin to the board, yes.
Yeah.
That's the most comfortable thing to do. Hey, Kimberly, how are you guys transferring?
We transitioned just recently from using the slide board to just doing popovers, and we're practicing popovers now kind of for the first time. So it's new to me.
Are you guys in a position that you would be willing to let us see a transfer?
Do what you're comfortable doing.
I mean, if the answer is no, that's fine. That's fine. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you wouldn't mind showing what you're doing, and maybe we can give you some pointers also as you're transferring. But if the answer is no, that's okay.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Right now?
We'll do it. Okay, go. So while you guys get set up, let me see how Gene is doing with videos. How you doing, Gene?
He's muted.
Yeah, I know he's muted.
I didn't actually do the Sure Hands website. I've got a YouTube video that I think it's like 2 minutes long we could show, and it gives an idea of an independent use of the Sure Hands lift.
Okay. So
screen if you
go
like.
ahead at the bottom of your screen, get it opened up, and at the bottom of the screen you have share screen. So go ahead and share your screen, and then and play that, and let's see what we got.
Yeah, let me open this up real quick.
There's somebody waiting to do that transfer, Brian. Kimberly's box. Want rehab?
Stacy.
Let's see.
Oh.
Uh-oh, where'd they go?
Well, they're set up, ready to do the transfer.
Well, I can wait if they want to do the transfer. Go ahead.
No, I mean they're gone.
Go ahead, we're here.
No, they're still
Oh,
there.
there they are.
When other people are talking,
okay.
it just switches screens.
Yeah.
Okay, well I can flip back across the top here, so I just didn't see you guys for a moment. Okay, okay, so
Why'd you scare them away?
stand by, Gene. Kimberly and company, go ahead. Show us your stuff.
All right. Take off your list.
Okay.
So it looks to me like you're in a power chair, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I've done the manual before, and I would like to give you the option of having both because you've got pretty good triceps and pretty good shoulder strength.
Okay. Now, is this her chair? Is this your chair, or is this a loaner chair?
This is hers.
This is hers. Okay.
Huh? Can you guys see? Okay.
I can see fine. Yes. So I'm going to say yes.
Let me make this a little.
Oh, I thought you were going to make it go uphill there, Kimberly.
Just starting non-level transfers, so that's a work in progress.
Okay.
Face plant, gotta have the face plant first.
Oh, yeah. And that was recorded for posterity now.
No. Nope.
Which is cool because 6 months from now, she can look back at it and see how much she's improved.
Exactly.
So I wish we'd have videoed when I first got
We
her.
started this. Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
Now I don't see them anymore.
We're here.
They're still
Okay,
there.
there we go. So
There
if you kind of keep talking a little bit, Kimberly, that way your screen stays on.
Okay.
There we
You
go.
can change your view, Brian.
To what?
Upper right-hand corner should be.
You
It'll
can
go
always scroll.
Oh, yeah, but then it's so small. I guess I want to see her on the big screen.
I have to keep telling you things, I guess.
There we go.
So this is probably a week and a half of no slide board. So this is very new.
Woohoo!
Nice job.
Go on, girl.
Oh,
Yes.
Great.
There.
yay.
Nice job.
Woohoo! This therapy stuff works.
So does it seem like each time you've been doing this, it gets easier?
It's more of just putting my head down, and it's kind of hard to do it. Put my head and put. If like I'm going to the right, I have to put my head to the left, or if I'm going to the left, I have to put it to the right.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and just like everything, the more that you practice, the easier it's going to get. And of course, probably what will happen is that once it gets easy for you to do something, Kimberly will probably make it harder for you, because that's what therapists do. Yeah, he's nodding your head. Yeah.
We'll be getting on milk crates in no time.
Yeah.
Don't transfer
So
to a milk crate,
when
please
we
don't.
do these classes in the spring, we'll have you get on the milk crate, okay?
No, not recommended.
Get that.
There is no reason.
Just in Corbin's world.
Yeah.
That's what I had.
Nice job. Wow. And I like how you're long as possible. You have some good strength, young lady.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
does.
she's strong.
Good job, Stacy.
Nice job. Yeah, nice job. Anybody have any questions or pointers for her?
I think she did a pretty good job at it.
That's not bad for a week.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
agree, Sarah. I agree.
Yeah, like I said, this is about a week and a half of no slide board. So
Woohoo!
Now, are you doing any of these transfers like this at home, or are you still using the slide board at home?
No, at home, I don't use the slide board. I just have it because the doctors and the therapists say like it's just there, like if I need it.
So it's there like a safety net.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's a good thing. That way, it just helps to keep you that you're in a safe place when you're doing the transfers, and helps you to become that much more independent. That's cool. Thanks for showing us.
Welcome.
You ready, Gene? Yeah, I'm ready. I just wanted to say to, I don't know if it's Kimberly or Stacy, I'm not sure which one's which, but I'm a power chair user here. And I used to use manual as well until I went to ASU, and the campus was just so big, I just got back in my power chair. But just make sure you keep transferring out of that manual chair too, because, you know, when you're young, you know, you want to be in that manual chair and get that good workout. But it's nice to have the power chair backup and don't become too reliant on it, especially if you're doing so well at transfers. But good job. All right, I'll share my screen.
All right.
Whoa, darn it.
What you doing there, Christine?
If I'm sitting still, the lights turn off.
Oh, is that what happened?
I have to like get up and do a dance by the door.
Oh, we didn't get to see that.
That's all right. You didn't miss anything.
Throw something at it.
Okay. All right.
Can you guys see my screen on this?
Yep.
You see a handy move body support independent use.
All right, I'm gonna hit play here. It's about 2 minutes long. I don't know if there's any sound. No, there is.
Sharing your screen.
Some nice music there.
Oh, is that you, Gene?
Being in his younger days.
Yeah. was. Sorry. Why? So I didn't realize it was kind of cheesy. For adult, I
It
guess.
was made in the 80s there. So,
Yeah, it totally was.
we saw the video. Now, can you talk about a little bit about how the system works? Because I know you have one.
Yeah.
So can you talk about, what the little handheld device is doing and how it's supporting you when you're moving around?
Yeah, so just like the video.
Now is orange.
Sorry, go ahead. The video showed you when you put these straps underneath your leg and you kind of pull yourself underneath the arm straps, when it comes up, it automatically squishes together. It's not super tight, but it's snug, and it holds you in that position. And wherever your track is on your ceiling, like mine just goes from my chair to my, it's probably 6 feet long, but you can have it go, like as you saw in the video, to a bathroom, to a shower, to whatever you wanted it to do. And the remote is very easy to use. I put little gluable nubs on the button so I can hit them easier with my finger. But it's a very simple machine. It works wonderful, has battery backup, and it allows me to utilize whatever help I need. It doesn't matter the size of the person helping me or whatnot, because the machine's doing all the lifting and all the transferring.
And so when you're using the little handheld, the little box, so what exactly is that doing?
It's a remote. So that's actually sending a radio signal to the motor that's above me and telling it to go left, right, up, or down. So and that's why you have it around your neck, because if you drop that in mid-transfer, you're kind of stuck in there until somebody comes back around to find you.
You could be hanging around for a while.
Could be, yeah.
Okay.
Could be.
That's never happened to you, right?
Knock on wood, it has not happened to me yet, no.
Okay.
I don't want that to happen if you not need me, but...
Yeah, and I've been in some veterans' homes that have track going from the bedroom or from the bed sideways over to the chair and then looping around into their bathroom and going multiple places in there, so you can get around in different places, even going kind of branching off, going either to the shower chair, or even over to where their toilet is, where the commode is. And they can, so it helps that person to be that much more independent, especially for someone who is unable to do their own transfer or relying on someone to transfer them, like using a Hoyer lift or some kind of a mechanical lift to lift the person. This way you don't have to have that person with you. It allows you to be that much more independent in being able to in transfers and mobility.
And like Gary said,
go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry, Brian. Like Gary said, I used to use a wooden transfer board, and I could transfer out of my chair. But over the years, doing that for 26 years, the outside skin and the muscle under my right ischium, it kept going like this. And I actually got a stage 4 pressure sore that I'm still healing from. And after I realized that's what it was, within a week I had this sure hands lift, and it has changed my life. But I never knew that would cause such a problem, such a sore. And I didn't see it because it was on the inside. So something to consider. I probably wouldn't have gotten this when I was younger, but doing this for 26, 27 years, it makes sense for me in my lifestyle.
And since you came in a little bit late, Gene, your injury level is what?
I'm a C5 quadriplegic.
Okay. All right. So you're even higher injury level than Stacy, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What I was going to comment on was, it was interesting. I'd actually never seen a little tube thing that the feet were kind of sliding down. That was kind of a cool little thing. I've actually never seen that before, or anyone at least using that before, for letting their feet just kind of roll and slide along a bed. Because otherwise, if you're constantly dragging your feet back and forth off the bed, especially your heels, that can certainly lead to some skin issues.
Yeah.
Like the little roller thing there, that's kind of a cool thing. Do you have one? Do you use one of those?
I don't.
Gene?
I usually, like, Rhonda will help me, and she'll just grab my legs and guide them where I need them to go.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's like a Philly slide.
Yeah,
What's
we're
that?
actually getting one of those. We're actually getting one of those as a creeper for getting under cars, because when we go to the rallies and stuff like that, those things work on gravel, grass, whatever.
Years ago, I used to use one called a Philly slide, and you can either put it out. You can have a small one for a slide board or a large one for on a bed.
Okay. That's cool.
And like Corbin said, so they make the sure hands lift to where it's got it's mobile, so it's got like a frame, a metal frame that you can put over anything. Like you can put it over a car or next to a car, and then the motor is mounted on that frame and it goes down and side to side. So you can take it and make it mobile.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Gene, and for showing us the younger version of you. I liked your much longer hair when you were.
I've never been that hairy, but you're welcome.
Okay. All right. Hey, Dominic, do you have, because you've been kind of quiet here and you're usually not, do you have anything that you do differently than people have been talking about as far as transfers, like for setups or anything like that? What you do with your chair?
Nothing really different. I know Corbin kind of touched upon it, and Gary did a little bit too. One of the biggest things for me was just when you do a transfer, you want to be in. What was that? Oh, when you do transfers, you want to do as much as you can to be in as stable of a position as possible. Like both Eric showed and Corbin showed, of bringing the chair, nice and close to what you're transferring to, being at a 45-degree angle. Corbin talked about it where he put himself forward in the chair, and that for me, instead of going up and over the wheel, you're going in front of the wheel, so you don't have to lift yourself as high to make that transfer. It's a whole lot easier when you pull yourself forward onto the front of the seat cushion. And even like when we were talking early on about brakes, I've been very, very fortunate that, my shoulders are rather strong and can stabilize me very well. So there's a lot of times where I won't even use my brakes, my wheel locks, in a transfer, because my shoulders are holding on to everything. And I'll put my locks on just in case, sometimes if I think my chair is going to slide away or something like that. There are times when we've kind of not really shown it, but like a chair to floor transfer, or back up from the floor to the chair. That's one of the times that I don't use my brakes, because when I get up to the height that I need to be, I actually pull the chair underneath me, and so I don't want my locks on. I want to be able the chair to roll nice and easy underneath me. So there's a lot of different different scenarios, you know, I mean, Corbin showed to get onto a milk crate. There's a lot of different surfaces that you'll get into. Just, what was it? Just yesterday, I got into a bar stool. And so you've got this, you know, spinning bar stool with a backrest, and you've got to be able to stabilize that and get up from there. It really depends on, you know, what you want to do. But yeah, there's so many different things.
Okay, thanks. So any questions about just general transfers that we've been doing here? Anybody have any questions about anything we've shown so far?
Daisy has a question.
All right, go ahead, shoot.
I'm muted. Go ahead. Oh, so she had a question for Karen.
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you keep your sling under you all day?
There's too much of a chance of getting a pressure sore from it. It just keeps your skin healthier.
Oh, okay.
Because if it has a little wrinkle in it or any little thing, then you're more prone to getting a pressure sore. And I use I'm not sure what it's called. It's not a full body sling, but it covers my whole back. And then it's got like two pieces that, one piece goes under each leg.
Okay.
So it's easy to get.
It's a divided leg sling.
Divided leg, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like that one a lot better than the full body.
And yours is a shorty.
Yeah, mine's a shorty, which I need to see if I can order another one somewhere. Since I was talking about it. It's fraying real bad. But
So
yeah.
can you talk a little bit about what a shorty is, what you're talking about?
Me or Christine?
Either whoever can describe what you're talking about.
It's kind of, see if I can draw a picture of it.
Oh, we get to see your artwork. Okay.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna grab my big one, and then for comparison.
Okay, so while they're doing that, so did anybody else have any other questions? Okay, so what we're going to do then is we are going to go on to a different type of transfer. And what I always used to tell my patients is that, you know, being a wheelchair user, it's not if you were going to come out of your chair unintentionally, it's when you're going to come out of your chair unintentionally and end up on the floor. So I know that that Eric started to show video of what of how he gets, and this is more, what he's showing is more of a controlled way to get down to the floor. But before you show the video, what I want you to do is talk about, well, actually, I'm gonna, because I know that Dominic can get down the floor as well. But so I want you to Dominic, talk a little bit about if you happen to end up on the floor unintentionally, what kind of things do you do to before you start jumping back in your chair?
So it happens fairly regular for me that I unintentionally end up on the floor.
We won't ask why.
There's lots of different reasons. But what I'll do is if I do end up, if I'm down on the ground, you know, we were talking about kind of surroundings, you know, what the surface is even of the ground. Am I on pavement? Am I in the dirt, grass? You know, those make a difference. You know, you definitely don't want to be sitting still too long on, say, hot pavement, you know, in the middle of the summer here. And
why is that?
What I'll do in preparation is really just getting my body into the right position and then getting my chair into the correct position. And I mean, I can talk about it, I can show it. It's tough to describe though. without actually seeing it.
And so I'm glad you're volunteering to get onto the floor here. So I'm going to have Eric show his video first. So while you get set up, so you can show getting onto the floor in your little room there. Am I putting you on the spot, or is that okay? Were you prepared?
No, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So while you're getting ready, Eric, go ahead and you can take over the screen and show the video that you have. And I know that Karen has a video also, so be ready to go there too, Karen.
Okay.
All right, so
there's Eric.
Yeah, so I'm about to get out of the chair. I do 2 chair to floor transfers. The first one I do with wheel locks. The next one I do without wheel locks. This one I do with wheel locks. You know, I don't always want my chair in a position to where it's not going to move. And so there are times when that's beneficial, because you can use your momentum to move your chair in the way that you need to get up and get going. However, if you're just starting out, I would recommend wheel locks. So the first thing I do is I do the wheel locks. Next thing I do is I get my legs ready to get out of the chair. Again, you know, I just need to make sure my legs are going to be out of the way when I go down, okay? As you can see, my head's moving forward, so my head is actually guiding my shoulders where I want it to go, okay? I've moved my butt forward a little bit in the chair, and I have my hands on both hands around the frame. So it's a pretty fluid motion. So what I'm doing right there is I'm leveraging my weight from one arm to the other arm as I'm transferring down to the bottom. It's a fluid motion. It's not like I'm doing a one, you know, like I'm going to do this, now I'm going to do this. It's kind of all at once, and that's because I'm using gravity to help me and momentum. So, and then as you see, I'm sitting on my legs. Again, I'm positioning myself to get in the chair now. So at this point, I want to be able to grab the frame. I'm going to do this in a fluid motion again, where I'm going to lean forward, grab the frame, and do a push-up to get myself up. And I try to do that as fluidly as possible, because that helps so that it doesn't put so much pressure on my arms, okay? Right there, I'm doing a little hop, and then I do a flip. So that's the one with the wheel locks, and then here's the one I do without the wheel locks. So a lot of times I'll hang on to the chair when I'm getting out, so I don't have to worry about it going away. But again, if I'm on a hill or something, I'm gonna want those wheel locks. Okay, so right here, again, it's about momentum. Hopping up there, doing the half turn, repositioning yourself, and then again, the legs are the last things to get situated for me. So that's what I have. Do you have any questions about that?
So were you slowing down how it was playing, Eric, or was that pretty much, on your side, did it seem like it was playing in real time?
It was playing in real time on my side. I can play it again if you want.
So it may be just the way it's coming through on my side. I don't know about anybody else. It seemed like it was in slow motion.
Okay, so let me try it one more time then, just real quick.
Let's see if that.
Okay, here we go.
And that was a little bit, at least that was a little bit better for me, at least from seeing it, yeah.
Okay. So maybe I just need to not talk while it's going.
And it could be just all the things that are going on.
Brian needs to pay attention.
Well, there's that too, probably.
Corbin, I muted you, so don't try talking. Since he was banging around in the background.
Who's banging around in the background?
Corbin.
Well, he's probably making something or breaking something.
Probably.
He's making something. Okay, so Karen, let's see the video, because I think the video that you have is of Sarah, right?
Yeah, Sarah, is it okay? The one that you did today, one of you transferred?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, most certainly.
So do you want to talk about what we're going to see here a little bit, Sarah, at all? Or just have her show the video?
I know for me, it can be kind of a challenge for me to transfer back up into the chair from the floor to the wheelchair because of my whatever.
Okay, why is it not bigger?
Get all this time to get ready, Karen.
I know I
He's
had,
drawing pictures for us.
but then when I went to share it, it was little. I don't know why. Weird. Okay, well, there's the sling that I use that Stacy was asking about.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And so when I was, let's see, am I muted? No. When I was saying it was short, I have one that's like a high back version. I can show that after the video.
Yeah, that's all right, because my computer's running slow. I don't know why.
It's probably because you're sharing and recording and everything at the same time.
Too many windows open. And
Yeah, you only got 50,000 things open here. No wonder.
yeah. Hey, because I had the video all up there, waiting to go. Come on. Okay. I gotta find it again.
Or just play us dancing cats or something.
Yeah. She has lots of cute animals. Probably would have been quicker to have you do it, Sarah. Let's see. Nope, nice.
There we go.
You know, it keeps jumping on me. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
Was it before the birds or after?
I can't.
Well, it was
right
this
there.
morning.
Oh,
So,
we almost had it.
I'm not seeing it on mine. I'm seeing all the animals. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
And of course, it's muted.
Well, that's okay because Sarah can talk about what she's doing.
Yeah, there you go.
Will the picture go? Thank you. I was going to say, will it go bigger?
Yeah.
And today I thought I would do a
It's got birds singing.
That's me, I'm sorry.
Let's get started. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to block my legs out like this and scoop myself to the edge of the wheelchair. See? I'm just going to take this and gently lower myself to the floor. So, and that's a safe way to transfer to the floor from the wheelchair. Now for the hard part. And that is trying to get back up into my wheelchair. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my legs together like this, but because of the paralysis of my lower extremity, my legs just want to keep flopping out like this. And I actually got muscle function from about here down. So it does make it a little bit of a challenge for me to do. So what I'm going to do here is to get back up into my wheelchair. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to position myself like this, and I can use my foot plate for my wheelchair. Scoop my legs up like this, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my upper straight just going to transfer myself carefully back up into my wheelchair. So I'm actually getting a lot better at it, but these are just some few little techniques that a person can use, and go on the floor. Now, so this is very, very important, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the morning.
Hey, Sarah, do you want to talk about anything that you did in the video there?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, as I'm getting ready to transfer, it's kind of hard to keep my legs in place because they just want to flop outward.
Okay.
So, what I do is I will usually, once I get into position, then what I do is I position myself on my foot plate. And then I use my upper body to transfer back up into my wheelchair.
And it looked like you just pop right up and back in the back of the seat,
But
right?
I have to transfer myself to the foot plate first.
Okay. So you go to the foot plate, and then you go up into the chair.
Yeah.
Or up into the seat.
Yeah.
Okay. Dominic, are you ready?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, I think you guys should be able to see.
Okay. So talk about what you're doing about the setup, and then also what you're doing when you're going down to the floor and back up into your chair.
Sure. So one of the things I noticed, like in Eric's video, was that he comes down onto his feet, down onto the ground. And for me, I found that if I do it that way, I tend to hear a lot of like popping and cracking in my knees, and if I put weight on my feet, it tends to kind of torque my feet in strange ways, my ankles, and just doesn't seem very comfortable or very good on my joints. So when I go down to the floor, what I try to do is I try to move my legs out of the way and come down directly onto my butt. And then, and again, is in as safe and controlled manner as I can. But some of it is still just kind of up to gravity. So I'll show how I do that. So again, I come out, I take my feet off from the foot plate, and those are down pretty much in front of me, straight in front of me. And then I bring my butt out to the edge of the seat cushion. And I'll usually twist a little bit to the side. And I don't have my wheel locks on at all, because as I go down, I'm actually going to push my chair away from me. So what I'll do is I put my hand down, give myself a good stable, spot here, and I lift up a bit, and then I'm able to push my chair away from me. I think you can see. And then going back up, it really depends. There's a big difference whether you have some sort of a surface that's elevated that you can, say, lift from or push off from, or if you're just in open ground and you have to go from the ground itself. It's a lot more difficult to go from just the ground. If you have something to push up from, like I have my desk here, and so what I'll do is, this is much easier. Your placement of your legs and stuff isn't quite as important. What I try to do is put them straight out in front of me, so I don't have to lift the weight of my legs as well. And if they spasm or anything like that, they kind of do their own thing and they won't really hinder me that much. And then it's really just a matter you find, again, a good stable position, get as close to whatever you are pushing from. And then it's really just a lift up. And then again, like I said, I pull my chair underneath me and then go back in. If you want to do it from, again, if you don't have anything to lift from, what you can do is I'll put my leg that's closest to my chair, I'll put that one bent here. This one can be straight out, and you can, there's kind of two ways I'll do it. Sometimes I can rock up onto that one foot and it gives me a little bit of lift. Otherwise, you can just push up. And a lot of the transfers, I know we didn't really talk about it too much, but a lot of the transfers, I saw Stacy was doing it where she would lean forward, and kind of when your head goes forward like that, your butt will kind of come up as well in the same motion. So it with momentum and with that dropping of your head, it'll bring your butt up and help put you into your chair a lot easier. Now, let's see how ugly this is going to be.
Oh, wow.
So sorry if the camera view wasn't the greatest. I hope it at least showed what was going on. It took me a long time to learn how to do that. It was one of the things that I knew very well that I was going to be getting out of my chair down to the ground. Like Corbin, you can see with his shop and everything. I work on cars a lot. I'm down on the ground. And so I knew this was something that I was going to have to learn and have to figure out. And so practiced a lot at it. And I've even had to sort of learn how to even have my chair, the specifications of my chair, where the seat height is and things like that. I also had to take that into consideration of how far I could reach, how easy I could get back up even into my chair. If my chair was too tall, I wouldn't be able to do that. If the front of the chair is a little too tippy, things like that. So those are things that you definitely have to take into consideration, is even the chair in being able to do the transfer or not. And just, again, building the technique, building the strength to do it. It is a difficult transfer to do, but it's whether you want to get down on the ground or you eventually will fall and have to get up, you want to learn that skill, definitely.
So Dominic, how much of the transfer you did there, how much of that is really, if you kind of break it down in percentage, is strength versus technique?
Oh man, it's probably 65% at least technique. You learn where to put your feet, how to move your legs, where to put your chair. There's so many little bits and pieces to it that it really is the technique of it, so much more than strength. And there are times when, even I still to this day, I'll try it and my legs are not positioned just right. And so I'll miss my chair and I'll have to go back down to the ground, reposition, and try it again. There's, all the times I've done it, it's still something will go wrong. My leg might spasm a little bit and kind of throw me off. you're just in just a little different position. So again, it's so much technique.
Okay. And I think a lot of it, the technique and just getting the setup right so that everything comes together for you to be able to do the transfer. Corbin, I know that you get down on the floor a lot. Is there anything you want to add to what has been done here? Because I think your transfer is very similar to Dominic's, right?
Yeah, it's really similar. I'm still nervous about the clavicle, so I'm not going to do it. But one thing that I do pay attention to is my chair is a very compact chair. So you can see where my rear wheel is touching, where my caster is touching. One of the things that I make sure of is I make sure that my casters are flipped around, and it gives me a little bit longer of a wheelbase. And the way that I have my chair designed is if I do this, my casters are actually in front of my footrest. So somebody could stand on my footrest and my chair wouldn't tip over. But if my casters were back, and the way most chairs are still made, they're starting to come normal like this. Standard builds are starting to move the casters forward of the foot plate and have them in line with the front of the
I
foot
see that
plate.
more and more on chairs.
Yeah. But before they would be swept way back. So if you tried to put, your hand on the front of the chair and your casters were, castered back, like you're moving forward in the chair, as soon as you put your weight on the front of the chair would tip forward. So it's really important to try to make sure your casters are faced the right way. It gives you a better fighting chance of doing it. It gives us a little bit more stable of a base to transfer.
Especially the way that Sarah was transferring, because she had said that she sits on her foot plates. So if her casters were way back behind the foot plates, then that chair would just essentially tip forward and she would lose any advantage of sitting on the foot plate because the chair just tipped forward on her.
Right.
Yeah, when I had my chair set up, I had them specifically design it like it was now.
Okay, good. Yeah, because that really helps. Certainly where the casters are positioned, that has helped you to be able to sit on your foot plate, so you're able to have that extra couple of inches that you're off the ground, and then go up into the seat from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that watching all of the transfers there. So does anybody have any questions about what we've done so far with the transfers here, getting down to the floor and getting back up in their chair? Any questions there? Wow, you guys are doing such a smashing job, bang up job here of demonstrating everything. That's just showing that they don't have to have any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I guess my question is just for each of you. Is this the initial way that you guys decided to do your transfers, or did you guys go through various different ways of trying to figure out, like, you liked something for a little bit and then you changed it? Like, I guess I'm just trying to get a perspective of you guys and what you guys like best and what works best for you.
Okay, so we'll take them one at a time. So we'll start with Dominic, since he's right next to you.
I'll say first off that the way I do my transfers now are completely different than the way I was taught in rehab. When I was first taught by the therapist in the rehab hospital, my transfer was actually very similar to Eric's, where I was taught to go facing my chair on my knees and do a press up facing the chair, and then twist and put my butt into the chair itself. That one, unfortunately, it was a really, really difficult thing to do in therapy because I had a TLSO chest brace. I had a full chest brace with a neck collar, and that was such a hindrance to make that sort of a transfer.
Wait a second. You were learning to do this with your TLSO and chin piece still on? Wow, that's pretty impressive, dude.
How long was rehab for you, Dominic?
I was in rehab 6 weeks. I was actually inpatient for 6 weeks.
Wow.
Sorry,
continue on.
94 when I got hurt. That was the typical stay for a para at the time was 3 months in rehab. So I actually luckily was able to get out a lot faster than the average. So nowadays I don't even think they allow 6 weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I saw Corbin. It's 2 weeks. I think they're yeah. But I guess to finish answering your question is that there are so many ways that we're taught in the very beginning of how to do things. Clinicians are taught this is the way, this is the safest or the best practice. But I always tell people to start from there and learn what works for you, because every injury level is different. Every person's physical ability is different. Like say for my transfer, I'm lucky that I'm almost 6'5" and I have very long arms. So my arms become an advantage in leverage in getting myself up. My strength comes into play. You know, so many different things. I'm a T5-6 para. So I don't know if I said that before. I know I said I was spinal cord injured, but so I'm right below my chest for my paralysis. I have no abs, I have no low back. So a lot of those things do come into play when you're doing transfers, when you're learning those things. And I always try to tell people that you do have to kind of find your own way, but you have a baseline to start from. You know, the same way Stacy was doing transfers. You know, you start that way. You start with a sliding board, and then eventually you work away from it. Then you work back into it. So there's a lot of those different things.
Okay. Hey, Sarah, how about you? Is this the only way you've been getting on and off of the floor?
Yeah, because it seems to be the easiest way for me to do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and I always have my wheel locks on when I'm doing it.
okay.
And the reason is because I had tried to do it without my wheel locks on, and I've actually slid right back down to the floor, so.
Yeah. And again, it's learning, you know, you're still, I think, still learning some things about, you know, your movements and how you're doing things. So definitely it's still an evolving process, if you will, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And how about you, Corbin? Same question from Melissa.
Yeah, I actually learned a couple different ways. The way that Dominic was describing, going to the chair forward, getting on the hands and knees basically, and lifting up that way and trying to do this funky spin move. And I also had my TLSO on while they were trying to teach me this. And I wasn't successful with that at all. And then the other way they had me do it is when I first started, I was in a chair that my butt would actually fit on the footrest. So they had me get back up to the chair, transfer, get my butt up on the footrest, and then try to get my arms up onto the frame of the chair behind me and just do a deadlift dip and lift myself up.
Which is kind of what Sarah was doing in her video.
Yeah. And then, so I was doing that semi-successfully, although I could tell that was going to be issues later. And then when I started playing basketball, I was on this team from the south side of Milwaukee, Kenosha. Maybe you've heard of it.
So you're a south sider.
Yeah. But it was back in the days before it was normal for people to be strapped into the chairs and everything like that. And this one guy would draw fouls all day long, and he would come flying out of his chair. And he did this at a tournament one time. He came flying out of his chair. One of the teammates pushed the chair to him, and he hopped back up in his chair, basically like what Dominic did, what he demonstrated. And he was back in his chair and playing the game before the referee could even blow the whistle, before he could even react to the guy, getting fouled and flying out of his chair. He was back in his chair and back in the play. And I saw that and I was like, I think that's the way I want to try to do this. So, luckily a few days later, I fell out of my chair and was able to practice that a lot.
Okay.
And it took a little while because I still had my TLSO on. So not being flexible, at least, a little bit, I have a small fusion in my back. So my lower back is I have 3 vertebrae that are fused together. But still that TLSO was, up to my neck and, down. So trying to do something like that, is very difficult. As soon as that thing came off and I got comfortable with being able to move around and everything like that, and being able to learn how to, there's not really a better way to describe it, throw your body around. You throw your head forward and your butt's going to come up in the air. It's going to be, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, when you're on the floor and you're using your shoulders as a fulcrum, as a pendulum motion, your body as a pendulum motion, you throw your head forward and something's got to go up, and it's usually your butt. So you learn how to do that kind of stuff, and then learn how to use momentum. Like when I transferred before my clavicle injury, when I transfer, I do it so quickly that the momentum, as soon as my butt hits my chair, I can basically lift my hands off the ground and I just sit right up in my chair because I have that momentum to carry me up into it. And it's one of those things where it feels like it takes a long time to learn something, but the instant that you learn it, it just becomes so easy after that. Then it's like, oh, all right, cool. And then I don't even think about it anymore until earlier this year when I dislocated my clavicle. Now I overthink it. Like I think that I'd be able to do it, but for some reason right now, like the pain and the time that it has taken to heal with this thing is probably one of the worst things that I've endured in my life. And I've died. So I've been really hesitant on doing stuff. Like I was just in Wisconsin at a class reunion, and they all went kayaking, and I was actually slightly afraid to transfer into a kayak because I was like, what if I blow this out again here in Wisconsin? I'm going to be done because I won't even be able to get home. Because when it happened the first time, I had to rely on somebody that had a wheelchair ramp fan to come and get me to take me to the emergency room because there was no way that I was getting in the car.
Okay. And then how about you, Eric? In developing your chair to floor to back to chair transfer, what is this always been the same way? Is this what you started out with?
Basically, I mean, I didn't go through rehab. I just learned everything. I was a country bumpkin, really, up in Minnesota. Grew up in a very rural area. So I had nice, soft, loamy grass to play with to get in and out of my chair. Not like here in Arizona. But that's how I figured it out. I just kept going in and out, in and out, in and out, and figuring it out. I mean, there are times when I went completely over my chair, but to be honest, I was a little drunk at the time, so that was that. But most of the time, I do okay with getting in the chair. Sometimes I hit my momentum wrong, and it's a tough push-up, or all my momentum goes away, then I have to start over. So, but yeah, I've changed a little bit. I never used to use wheel locks. When I started using my wheelchair, I found that my fingernails would crack all the time from hitting the brakes. And so I'm like, get rid of those. I don't need those. And after losing my wheelchair once down a hill, then I thought, well, maybe brakes need to happen. And then I started using those. That's really the only difference, whether I use brakes or not. But I'm used to not using brakes while getting in and out of my chair. I like to keep everything moving and fluid, because that, you can use so much of that momentum to really jettison yourself out of the chair, such as when you hit a crack in the sidewalk with your casters and you're not thinking about it. And that's very common, by the way. Like, I'm in a chair where the wheelbase is a little closer, like Corbin was stating, and man, when I hit those cracks, I wasn't prepared for it, and I just fly right out. Thing is, I've learned how to fall kind of like a cat, I mean, my hands go where I'm falling, and I try to catch myself and roll with it and just get right back up. So, and if you ever watch wheelchair basketball too, I mean, some of those guys, especially the guys that do draw the fall, like Corbin was saying, I played with a guy, his name was Kelly Case, and that guy drew falls, but he also went down and popped right back up. I mean, the guy he could just push his hands and boom, do a push-up and throw his whole chair and him back up. So some people can do that. So a big part of it's not being afraid of the fall, Some people say I do it in slow motion when they see me fall, because what will happen is I'll get my body involved with the fall and anticipate it and go with it. And so it kind of slows it down. There's been times when I've been on the edge of my seat, and it's really just like I'll get in my chair and I'll be on the edge, and all of a sudden my wheelchair will want to pop forward because I'm too far forward. And I didn't do what Corbin says to do, which is to have my casters facing forward. They were facing back, and I'm like right there ready to tip. And my wife is just sitting there, and she's just looking at me with this big, look on her face like, what do I do? And I said, don't touch me. Just don't touch me. Otherwise I'm going to fall. And it took a little back muscle to actually pull myself back. But, it's a lot of fun. What can I say? So there can be enjoyment in doing this stuff. It's good exercise, but you're learning how to do it safely too is the way to do it.
Well, I think one of the big take-home things here for getting down to the floor is certainly, there are going to be times when you come out of your chair and it's unintentional. You are rolling down the street and you end up on the ground for whatever reason. Yeah. And so it's certainly learning how to fall out of your chair safely so that hopefully they're not doing any damage or doing minimal damage to yourself. Yeah. And then there's also those reasons to be able to get down onto the floor to do the things you want to do. So whether it is, working on your chair, working on your car, playing with, kids on the ground or whatever it may be, there are reasons to want to get out of your chair, to get down to the ground, to do something else that even from your wheelchair is just too high to do. So, so being able to do that safely and be able to do that
you're cutting up
in a manner that you're the one in control and being able to, what was that, Eric?
Oh, I said you were cutting up. It sounded like you were cutting up. I don't know if it was just me or
no. Brian's audio is cutting in and out.
Okay, so did you hear everything I said, or do I need to repeat it?
It's enough.
Okay, I don't know what I said. So one of the big things also, just for for those of you, especially for students, but also those of you that are new to injuries, is that therapists, and certainly as I was a therapist, I was always harping on my patients about flexibility, range of motion, being able to stay flexible, because as you saw, like with Eric, how he got down on his knees there. Well, if you don't have the flexibility to do that, there's going to be a problem. Or the same thing with Dominic, the way he had his foot pretty much underneath his butt almost when he was pivoting on there. So it's making sure that you have that flexibility, that range of motion, and it may not be that you're especially you guys that are students and or therapists on the line, it may not be that person has to actually do specific range of motion exercises every day, because a lot of times that just the fact that your daily activities of getting dressed, of moving around, certainly helps with that, maintaining that flexibility. But it is still a really important thing to be able to do, is to maintain that flexibility so you can do the things that you want to do laying down onto the floor. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I just make one caveat to all this? Leg spasms. So when trying to get into a chair, it's not uncommon to have a leg spasm once in a while. I've literally jettisoned myself over the chair with a leg spasm one time. So that is possible, because legs do spasm. Once you have an injury, whether, especially if it's an incomplete, I would think there would be a good chance that you're going to have spasms at some point. And so, being calm can help that, but also, the weather and all kinds of different stuff can cause you to spasm. So just being aware of that whole spasming nature of being a paraplegic or having a disability, spinal cord injury, those spasms come with the injury. And so, and those can be triggered by a lot of different things too. They could have a myriad of things. Pressure sores can trigger them, being nervous can trigger them, the cold can trigger them. A lot of different things can trigger it. Touching the foot just the right way can trigger them. So there's all these different things that could actually trigger a spasm that can make it very difficult to get in and out of a chair to do transfers. So sometimes it's about taking that deep breath, calming down, waiting, being patient for that spasm to go away before attempting that transfer. So
yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
And
Anybody
everybody's
else?
different, because I think I've known people that will use their spasms to transfer, that they're able to trigger their spasm and they almost do a half stand and they can transfer. So it's really a lot of knowing your body and what works best for you.
That's what I do for my car transfers, is I get my legs to spasm for car transfers, because then I can get on my legs for a very short period of time to stand. But it's a very limited window. It's like a very small window.
Can I ask how you get your legs to spasm? I can't wrap my brain around how you initiate that.
No, so what I'll do is just touching my feet down to the ground can cause a spasm. Straightening out my leg can cause a spasm for me. When I go to get up like this, I'm feeling spasms going through my leg right now. In the same respect though, if I have any sores on my feet or if I'm tired, those spasms will last a very short period of time and then my legs will just collapse. So I mean, it's not very reliable, to be honest with you. I've fallen a couple times just trying to get in my car because my legs will give out during the heat because I'll be exhausted. But the spasms, I've always had them, and I think it's part of being a partial para. I'm an incomplete, so I do have some floating feelings, and it depends on my blood pressure too. If I have, if my blood pressure is higher, I'm going to have more blood flow in my legs, and therefore I'm going to get more feeling. And, so there's some times where it just works and there's no spasm. And there's sometimes when one leg works and the other leg works, or one doesn't and one does, or it's a crapshoot with my body. It just, what's the wheel going to give me today? Are they going to even work? So it keeps it lively, slows me down, and makes me be very present to the moment of what I'm doing.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, I can't.
There was a guy that used to be one of the an instructor a while ago, high level quad, and he figured out trigger points on his legs. So he would actually he would actually like punch himself like in the thigh, and his legs would just straighten out, and he could stand up, and he drove a lifted pickup truck, and he could stand up next to his truck and pick his chair up and put it in the bed of the truck, and then turn around and sit down on the seat of the truck, and then he would just like do another pressure point and like massage his leg, and they would shake a little bit and just completely relax, and he would be sitting in the truck. So he learned how to use his spasms and how to trigger them and how to make them stop, and he used it to his advantage, and it worked really well for him. It's you know, learning your body and what you can do and everything like that. I'm lucky I don't have any spasms at all. Every once in a while my big toe will move, and that's about it.
Wow, that's like so interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you guys know your body so well. Like, that's just so cool. Like,
the first time I saw him do that, it freaked me out because I was like, "What are you doing?" Because he punched himself like a couple times, and then all of a sudden his legs started just shaking, and he just like lifted himself out and like put his chair in, and the dude's like 89 pounds soaking wet, and you know, would do this and then sit in the truck and then just use the heel of his hand, and he would just massage that same spot on his leg, and his legs would just relax, and then he'd just get in the truck. It was amazing.
that's wild. That's so cool, though.
It's funny, you can have two people with the same identical level of injury, and everybody has different symptoms and abilities, and
Yep.
it's crazy.
Sure.
So does anybody have any other questions before we wrap up and adjourn for the evening?
Well, you know, I know for me, it's, you know, when I first got hurt, yeah, I had to relearn a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I had to relearn, you know, I had to learn how to transfer in and out of a wheelchair, and then, you know, especially with that, the aspects of activities of daily living, I had to relearn a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, having a spinal cord injury changes a lot of stuff.
And it does.
Especially when 1 minute you're walking and then the next minute you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly things in your life can change just in an instant.
Yep.
Like 80s perms, they're out now. No one does them. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Gary.
Yeah. So Gene, go get that perm again. And Gary's gone. He had to leave.
Oh. Bye, Gary.
No.
All right. So if anybody doesn't have any other questions or comments, then we will plan to meet up here this same time next Thursday. And we are going to be going over what are we doing next week? Somebody help me.
Wheelies, ramps,
Thank you.
curbs.
Yeah, wheelies, ramps, curbs, and moving around, opening and closing doors. If someone has an elevator, that's great. We can use that. So we're gonna reconvene here again next week with some just some different topics, and then we'll be here for two more sessions beyond that.
And really, this is
yes, ma'am.
this is for people that are out in the community. So if anybody has any questions or things they'd like to see that we want to get prepared for future sessions, just let us know.
Send them to Karen. And if you have friends you want to bring along with you, you know, Kimberly needs more people in her office there to hang out in front of the video. So, so certainly, yeah. So certainly, if you have any friends that weren't able to be here today, you know, certainly invite them along, and we'll talk to them too.
I would like to see either Dominic or Corbin jump a car with the wheelchair. That's what I would like to see. But
and do a backflip as they do it.
That's right. That's right. You know?
That's on session 5.
That's session 5. Session 5.
I don't think I want to be flipping back in my wheelchair and going a couple of vertebrae up and then end up a quadriplegic.
Yeah,
All of that's not
there's-
recommended.
Yeah.
that's why this is, yeah, it's highly, that's why things like sitting on milk crates are not recommended.
Please don't.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
You know,
Well,
the only thing that would have been worse would have been one of those mechanics dollies that move around.
That's what I thought he was
that's what I
gonna
actually
get.
expected him to bring. Yeah.
I sit on one of those.
Oh goodness.
I can do that next week.
Okay, thanks.
That's
Thanks,
week 4.
Yeah.
I could get up on that.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness.
All right. Well,
That's
on
week
that
6.
note, everyone.
I could be a dangler from the ceiling.
One quick thing, Brian, before everybody leaves. We're doing adaptive yoga tomorrow at 5 o'clock if anybody's interested in joining.
Oh, I'll be there.
That's to help stretch out the kinks after you injure yourself doing the stuff that we
Yeah.
do.
Just email me, Karen@azspinal.org, and I'll
Got
send
it.
you the link.
I'll be there.
Okay. Namaste. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for coming here this evening. And everyone, be safe and have a great evening. And we will see you same place, same time next week.
Yep.
Sounds
Bye.
Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.